वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय मम ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः मां विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसदि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे हुक्म करोति वाचालं पुंगं लंघयते गिरिं कृपातमां वन्दे श्रीगुरो दीनतारिणं हरे कृष्ण. So yesterday we were trying to discuss about what should be our mood and attitude while chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. The question is, I was thinking about it. The question was popping up. The question is, should we have the association of the spiritual master and senior Vaishnavas to chant Hare Krishna, or should we take their association to come to the pure state? What is the? That's the question. So I'm asking this question to everyone. So what do you think? Do we take association just to chant Shuddha Naam? What's your opinion? What do you think? Subal Prabhu, would you like to tell? What's the core reason? Why do we take association? Is it to come to that plane? Who would like to tell? It's the question.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Can I try?
Yes.
Yes,
Mataji, please tell.
So for the purification of ourselves.
Can you be a little bit louder?
We should take the association to purify our consciousness, Prabhuji. That's what. Can you hear me? Can't you hear?
I'm trying to hear.
For the purification of our consciousness, Prabhuji.
Okay.
For that reason, that's one of the reason.
Okay.
And we will build our relationship with the acharyas, with the gurus, and that one will take us to the bhakti ladder.
Okay. So your primary, what's your primary answer? Your primary answer is to establish a relationship with them?
The purification. The first
Okay.
thing is to purify our consciousness.
Uh-huh.
That is the first thing, and one of them.
Okay.
And then second is that way we'll build our relationship, our faith with Guru Acharyas.
Okay.
It will help in the progress in Bhakti path.
Okay. Thank you. Anyone else?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam, dear devotees. My main answer is because it was recommended by our Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada, and that's the only way we are going. If we take that process that he recommends, that's the only way we are going to attain transcendental knowledge. That's my short question. Answer.
Okay, so you say that through chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra we get the transcendental knowledge.
Absolutely.
Okay. Anyone else would like to add? Who would like to add?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances.
Yes,
Initially, we chant to have our mind steady, like the fluctuating mind, to have it steady initially. That way, eventually, once we get to know that Krishna Krishna is all and everything. So we get to chant without any intention, like just call the name without any intention. But the Guru Srila Prabhupada has recommended 16 rounds, so the count also should be. There should also be a count, so the count should be there, and then more than the count, just to connect with Krishna. So that would be at a later stage to what I observed. Prabhu. I want to share.
Okay. So the question is, again, I'll tell the question. The question is, should we take the association of the acharyas or spiritual masters just to chant pure name, or what is the intention? That is a question. So we'll try to discuss that question because it is very important. So, dear devotees, now we all came to the moment. It's a it's a practical answer. Now we all came to the process of Krishna consciousness because we either had difficulties, we either looking for some kind of solace or relief, or to come out of difficult states like depression, anxiety, other stuff. Those are the things. These are the reasons why generally a sadhaka comes to the process, right? As there's a general way, right? That's how we that's how we all got connected to the process, right? But if you closely observe, no, people who do not come to the process or people who came to the process, those are the common things which everyone goes through. Those are the common problems which every individual or the living entity will go through. So, when one comes to the Krishna consciousness process, if you actually see, initially, the Lord will give mercy through the acharyas, through the Vaishnavas, through association. He gives mercy. And then through that mercy, uh, they come to the plane of initiation, and then they get initiated, and then they 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 understand through that association what is the purpose of everything, and then they take up the process to the core, to the heart, and then they go back home, back to Godhead without any issue. But the concern is there are few devotees like that who come to the process when they understand, when they get connected to the mission and the movement, and then they sincerely apply all the teachings of the acharyas and the spiritual master. They really apply core to the heart, and then they will naturally realize that what is the real essence, and then they come to the plane of surrender very easily, and then they go to that state, and then they go back home, back to Godhead. Srila Prabhupada is a practical example for that. He he met his spiritual master. He took him as his life and soul. He asked what service I should do. He received that service. And then he took that. See, his spiritual master only told him to preach in English language. That can be done anywhere. Srila Prabhupada could have done that in India also. Could have done that in Kolkata, in a city. There are so many people who speak English. Could have just done that, and then that is actually fulfillment of a spiritual master's desire also. But what he did was, he did not stop there. He took that, the more he began meditating, the more he began taking him to the core of his heart, what is manifesting is the the expansion got manifested. If you actually see, All those 40 years, nothing did work with Srila Prabhupada. The Lila Amrita very clearly proves, it is proving again and again that things did not go in his way. But what happened was, an interesting aspect happened. Even though things do not go, generally how it works in the material world, things do not go. For example, if we have a loss, or if our office is not doing good, then what do? We generally switch the companies, right? Right? Let's say you invested something in a bank, and that bank is not good. Then what do? You change your investment into some other bank, right? Let's say your 401k is not doing good. So you review that 401k bucket, and then you try to change because it is not working as expected, right? These are the normal things which happen in the material world. Because what is happening is the faith is not fixed on an aspect. The faith is continuously changing. So due to that reason, in this material world, there are calamities, obstructions, issues, concerns, through which they have so many other kind of, because the core problem is this. Through this core problem, other problems are coming. Because the moment you go outside, you associate with people. The people, generally children are little inclined towards it. Whatever the other person whom they see outside, especially at school, they quickly learn from them and then they try to imitate that. Right? That we see normally in this world, right? No doubt there is no happiness in that, but by the time they realize that there is no happiness in that, what they do is they try to find the other one. There is no happiness. But what is happening is they try to find the other means to get that happiness. Even in that instance also there is no happiness. So what they do is they switch from one plane to other plane, one state to other state. They change. But here if you actually see 40 years he did not change. Please try to understand. That same instruction, my spiritual master told me to preach in English language. That's it. He did not change. Continuously he is aspiring for that only. That means if a person is actually involved in that continuously, means there should be some other force which is actually helping him to do that. Please try to understand this. Just like Dhruva Maharaj, he did tapasya for 6 months. You know what are the grades of that tapasya? First month, he ate only fruits. Second month, he ate once every 3 days. Third month, he ate like once a week. I'm not telling the right details. Fourth month, he was on water. Fifth month, he was taking water also, once in a while. Sixth month, he was completely free from everything. He was just breathing. Through breathing only, through that life air, his energy is all manifesting. And through that kind of austerity, the Lord manifested. That means, dear devotees, in that 6 months when he is doing that, there should be something, some force which is actually driving him. Otherwise, it will not be possible. For example, even in the life of Prahlad Maharaj, there's so many calamities coming, but the thing is, he is not obstructed to that. How is that? How is it a person is not obstructed? Generally, if difficulties come in this world, people are obstructed. They stop what they are doing. But Prahlad Maharaj was not interested. Srila Prabhupada was not interested. He was getting continuous difficulties, but he was doing it again and again. He did not give it up. That means, what is that a driving force which is driving all these personalities? That means, is this driving force only there for those personalities? Or is this driving force available to everyone? Now, that is another question. Initially, we might come for some relief. Let's say our job is in loss, or we have some issues. Let me go to the Lord, he will help me. Okay, we might come to that. We might come to the Lord for that. But if you actually see, that thing should aspire us to connect, taking a deeper association. When that thing is not aspiring us to connect, to take deeper association, then what is happening is we either slacken in the process of Krishna consciousness, or The second thing is we either leave the process. Only these two things will come. What is the first thing? We slacken the process. Oh, I used to chant. Oh, I used to go. Oh, I used to do this kind of service. Oh, I used to do that kind of service. I used to distribute. This concept, what happens is I'm doing rather than from I'm doing, it becomes to I'm used to doing. What is happening? Because the process got slackened. Why? Because the core connection is not established. See, for Arjuna, the connection establishment was easy. It was not that difficult. But for others, the conditioned souls in this world, the connection is not that easy. It will not be manifested just like that. That means the Shuddhana will not manifest just like that. It's a process and it will take time also. Etamam prapadyante tamsaya vajami. That process and time, that investment when we are doing, through that investment, if we are going deep, then the process will not slacken, rather the process will deepen. Through the deepening of the process, just like Srila Prabhupada, he did through his life, just like pure devotees, they are actually following in the footsteps of Srila Prabhupada. You see all the pure souls, what are they doing? Whenever I see my spiritual masters, what are they doing? They're taking the truth in this way. What are they doing? Every day they're deepening their consciousness. They're sharpening their intelligence. Through that intelligence, what is happening? The soul is actually nourished. Because soul wants what? Soul wants this only. Soul wants what? Coming closer to the Lord, coming closer to Krishna. More important, coming closer to the acharyas and their words, their teachings. When their words and teachings are manifested in our head, what happens is naturally Lord will actually come into our heart, into our consciousness. There is no Lord doesn't actually stop. It is actually we who are actually stopping the Lord. Please try to understand. The Lord is always available. We are not stopping him. He's he he's not stopping himself. Actually, we are stopping him to come into our consciousness because Lord is ready to come. But the thing is, he's asking, how, if I come, what do you do with me? Just like two birds sitting on the tree, if one bird is actually eating something, the other bird is just watching. The other bird, which is the Paramatma, is just watching. Now that Paramatma, what is he doing? He is actually waiting when this bird will come to me. Until and until this bird will come to me, the other bird will not reciprocate. If we go right now, the Lord is ready to reciprocate. For example, this is a beautiful question. What is that? If Krishna comes today, are we ready to go with him? Krishna will tell on the spot. Krishna just descended and then he tells us, would you like to come with me? I'll take you to the spiritual world. I want to extend my relationship with you. Would you like to come to me? This is what he asks. If at that moment he says, no, one sign I should do, I should write this thing to my wife, I should write that thing to my son, I should give this asset or my property to my granddaughter or grandson. If the moment we begin telling Krishna, immediately he will leave from that place. Please try to understand. Krishna is very sensitive. He's very soft-hearted person. Just like, now how is that manifesting? You see the practical example. Gopis, they were thinking that Krishna is with them during the transcendental dance party. The gopis, they are thinking that, oh, Krishna is only with me. Immediately Krishna left like this. That means Krishna doesn't like that state, no matter who we are. That means if you are keeping or aspiring something for one's own self, Krishna doesn't like that. A sadhaka's life should be very clean state. He shouldn't aspire anything for himself. Should take care of the family, that's his responsibility. With that also, our acharyas, they gave us clear understanding how one should take care of the family. Very clearly. Everything is very clearly dealt. For example, if you are upset with the child, you should have a reason why we are upset with the child. If you are not upset with the child, if the child goes away from the Krishna consciousness, then it is good reason to upset for the child. But if the reason, oh, my child will not do this, will not get that, he will not be strong materially. If you are upset for that, Krishna will never manifest into our consciousness. That means, don't we have to get upset for that? See, aspiration is something, desiring is something else. That means a need. How is that aspiration coming? Different ways of aspirations. See, to eat 2 times prasad every day, that is a need. If we have wealth to eat 100 times daily, what is the use of that? There's no use for that. For example, if you have so much wealth where you can, for the next of the life, for the next of the moment we leave our body, if we have the wealth which can feed us 100 times every day opulently, what is the use for that? That means we have those things, we have those assets, but those assets are not rightly used, not correctly being used. That doesn't show that we are in the plane of selflessness. That means the selflessness is not yet manifested. When the selflessness is not yet manifested, how do we think that Krishna will manifest into our heart? How do we think that Krishna will come and dance on our tongue? It's an interesting question. If our goals and aspirations are something else, and on the other side, we want to practice Krishna consciousness, we want to chant Hare Krishna, yes, Krishna will allow us to chant. And that becomes punya. Please try to understand. That becomes a pious activity. That's why the beginning of the question will come to that point. Our acharyas, pure devotees, they go through so many things in their life, but they never left the process. How? Because the driving force is what? They have so many experiences in their heart and heart. By the mercy of the Lord, by the mercy of the acharyas, there are so many experiences, so many realizations in their heart. Through the realizations, what is happening is they take big steps. They take steps which are brave moves, brave steps. By the guidance of the acharyas, by the guidance of the spiritual master, what they do is they take brave steps. Through the brave steps, what is happening? Etamam prapadyante, tamsada vajan. Through that, what is manifesting? Beautiful consciousness is manifesting. Now, I'll give an example. My spiritual master gave this example. When I started taking his association, roughly 7 years, 6, 7 years back, he gave this beautiful example. He said, my students who are there with me, that's what he said. He said, my students are free from sex life. It's good. And he said, my students only come together when I tell them to come together. That's what Srila Prabhupada multiple times he writes in the purport. I have actually read that purport so many. It's there in Gita. I don't remember the exact shloka, but Srila Prabhupada writes, one should develop a relationship with spiritual master in such a way that the disciple should come closer only for procreation of children, no other purpose. There should not be any other intention to come closer. So through that, what is he manifesting? Now another question now, because yes, recently he again told us the same thing. His another students, because he told them to do Garbhadan Samskarma. And then they started telling, Prabhu, they started telling, dear spiritual master, the love which we received from you is unlimited. Now, the thing which we are doing is not giving us satisfaction, but we are doing it only to please you. Because we have to generate the progeny. This is what they are telling. When I told this, actually, I'll tell this. Before I came to Tampa, I was in Seattle for a week. Then I came to Tampa. From there, I went to Pittsburgh. took darshan of New Vrindavan. I went to Radhavendra and Chandra, take their darshan with the devotees, and then from there went to India. Before that, I was in Seattle for a week. I'll tell you one a beautiful conversation. This is what I was conversing with the devotees practicing for 20 years, the process of Krishna consciousness. And that devotee is facing a lot of difficulties. What are those difficulties? 20 years of practice. What are the difficulties? She's telling, Prabhu, I'm seeing faults in the devotees. Prabhu, somehow the process is not connecting to me. She was very honest. I like the honesty. That's why she's connected. She's connected. She's taking the truth now. She's hearing from a spiritual master every day. Very, very beautiful soul. So what is happening? I'll tell this, dear devotees. Please try to hear how deeper one should actually establish or take this process of Krishna consciousness. So I told that Mataji, we were conversing for like 1 hour, 1.5 hours at their home. And then I was telling Mataji, oh Mataji, you know, my spiritual master, my Shiksha Guru's students, they're so dedicated. They're completely selfless. They do not have anything in their life. They're fully surrendered souls. You know, they follow four regulative principles to the best. And the Mataji Prabhu, they stay at different places. They might stay in the same home, but they stay in different rooms with their children. Right? So and then I told her that Mataji, this is what aspired when I first met my spiritual master. Because at that point of time I was practicing for like 6-7 years. And then after that I met him 6 years back. And what struck to me was, please hear this attentively, very, very important, this is very interesting. He told in the class that one of his students, and she told him, Prabhu, is there any other way to beget children? I think we don't like to come closer to each other for that purpose. But rather on the rest of the other things we are good. We do not have any relationship problem. We do not have any quarrel problems. We don't quarrel. We don't do anything of that kind. But somehow this physical intimacy is not giving me satisfaction. This is what she said. I was shell shocked. Because that is the first interaction with that kind of devotees. Were very now recently when he told about this, I was thinking about this. Now I'll tell you what I was thinking. Please try to hear this. Very attentive. It's very important because now Vishya Vinyavartante Niraharasya Dehinam Rasavarjam Rasopyasya Param Drushta Nivartatu. Unless Krishna tells in Gita, unless and until a person gets that higher taste, he cannot leave the lower taste. It is very practical. Then I was just thinking, this material world is actually running on this. This Maiduna Kharaga as a shackle of sex life. This is a material world. That's how it is running. If these devotees, what are they getting? But I'm thinking about myself also in that. What are we getting that we are completely free from that? Why are we feeling that this is a very disgusting thing? What did we receive from that personality? Now, I might be there at my spiritual master's place for a few times, but we didn't have like so much physical connection. The connection is through Vani. The connection is through Vani, but I always think like, what did he give to us? This is what I think. And what did he give to those devotees? Then the answer is, he gave unlimited love to those devotees. Through that unlimited love, this thing is very futile for them. What is that thing? And just gave an example. There's so many other things. Dana, Jana, Sundari, money, woman, wealth, money, woman, prestige, Kanaka, Kamini, Pratishta, Puja, Labha, Pratishta. What are all these? These are all the unwanted weeds which are there. Now, through the process of chanting of Hare Krishna also, when these unwanted weeds are fed, then the chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra cannot go deep. That process will not be connected on a deeper level, dear devotees. No, then the question which I was thinking, the answer is the relationship which they received from him, the love which they received from him, that is unlimited. Through that love, they are able to give up that. That means, what is it? When the relationship is received in that way, when the truth is received in that way, for the pleasure of that person, when we are trying to understand the truth on a deeper level, what is happening is, if we really want to make progress, if we want to please our acharyas, if we want to please our spiritual master, what happens is, we should sincerely strive to do these actions and activities to please them. When we do that, we get the strength. To that, we come to the state of Navavas. And slowly, we come to the state of Shuddhana. See, through relationship, these are all manifesting. Because in the spiritual world also, relationship is there. Please try to understand. Through relationship, Nama is coming. Through relationship, the faith on the truth is coming. Through relationship, surrender is coming. Through relationship, submission is coming. That means through all of these things, what are the other things are manifesting? The needs and the necessities of practicing Krishna consciousness is coming. And then now, for these devotees, four regulative principles is like a cakewalk for them. Now, when I told this to that 20-year practicing Mataji, she was so inspired hearing this. And then she said, "Oh, I want to hear this truth. Please give me an opportunity so that I can hear." Beautiful. So, what is this? This is a manifestation, dear devotees. The consciousness will change. And then now the devotee is practicing very nicely. Because what happens is, when unwanted things are removed, then because that is what the pure association is. Through pure association, what happens? Unwanted things will be removed. That is why one should continuously hear from one person. Very, very important. And through that hearing, we should establish a relationship also with them. Because through that relationship only, our relationship with the acharyas will be established. Because if we neglect this relationship, the relationship with our acharyas will not be established in the heart. This is my realization. It's very important because before that my heart was not responding like this. But after meeting and hearing from him continuously and then surrendering at his lotus feet, what is happening? Transformation is happening. Otherwise, what happens, dear devotees? Because now, if a person asks a question, now I know which state of consciousness they are in. And then to that state, I'll give that kind of medicine. So that that medicine will be helpful to that person to elevate his consciousness. For example, if you go to a doctor whom you know, then the moment you tell something, he'll know because, he knows where the problem is. He'll tell, take this medicine, it will be all right. Because he's already assessed. So we should have that kind of Vaishnavas in our life who can really give us the time and that assessment. When that thing is manifested, then our vision of seeing the things and aspiring the things will be totally different. Then we can actually chant 16 rounds. It happens. We don't have to worry. It will happen naturally. That's why when devotees tell, "Oh, Prabhu, how many rounds I should chant?" No. First, if you hear naturally, you will chant. If you do not hear, you cannot chant. Because what are we doing? If you are not hearing, what are we trying to do? We are trying to do that through ourselves. See, through ourselves, it will not work. But when we do it through the lens of our teachers, through the lens of the acharyas, because they studied the lens of the acharyas thoroughly. And then they give us that realizations, reflections. Through that reflections, what happens when we apply those reflections in our life, our life will also change. For example, simple question. For example, you are not this body but a powerful spirit soul. Now, when we ask this question, oh, okay, if I am not this body for a powerful spirit soul, no, this is a statement. De universal yata de komaram yavaradu. Jo tata dehantara pratyur dhira satanam yadu. That's a statement, right? Now, statement is one thing, realization is another thing. Now, how realization will come? When you think about the statement continuously. Okay, this is, okay, I'm not this body, I'm a powerful spirit soul. How is that possible? How can I do that? That means the first thing which will manifest into our consciousness is I should be free from this bodily conception. See, if I'm too much attached to this body, oh, what's going to happen to this body? If you're thinking like that, then this soul, do we think that the consciousness of the soul will be manifested? The consciousness of the soul will not be manifested. For example, if I speak about soul, and then the moment after leaving this body, after not leaving this body, the moment I leave this class, the moment we all leave this class, if I'm right after this, if I'm acting on the bodily platform, then what is that? That means I'm speaking, but I did not understand it. When these honest questions will come into our consciousness, then what, for example, we gave that practical example, right? Taking cold shower. That's an example, that's an indication that why do we take hot shower? Because we don't want to give discomforts to the body. Oh, cold shower means, oh, what's going to happen? I have asthma also. If I have asthma, how can I take cold shower? How can I get up early in the morning? So what all these questions do come. But when one follows, because this is what the Acharyas told us. When we break these things and then move forward a little step forward, and when we begin taking that cold shower, then what happens? Submissiveness comes into our heart. When that submissiveness is manifested, what happens, dear devotees, is your heart will open up. Through that opening of heart, then you'll get desire to chant Hare Krishna. Then through that heart opening, you'll aspire to take more and more Shravana. That means that Shravana will become a daily process for us. Do we see it here? Do we any day do we discuss the same thing? No, we don't discuss the same thing. No, generally overall we say that, oh, we should do everything for the pleasure of Guru and Krishna. But we discuss about the 1,000 times, 1,000 ways, 1,000 means. Why? Because that is the core of the heart. For example, if there is there is this wall here, dear viewers. In this wall, you put a nail, and then you try to hit with the hammer. Let's say you're hitting. Sometimes you hit this side, sometimes you hit that side. Let's say you're drowsy, you're not like attentive. Sometimes you hit to your finger, and then you stop that day. Next day you again come. Next day also you have the same consciousness. You're trying to hit the nail, but right attitude is not there. That means the focus is not there. Vyavasayatmika buddhi eke hai Gurunandana. That means one pointed focus agenda is not there. When one pointed focus agenda is not there, then what happens? Then we cannot put the nail. Then the wall becomes little dirty, faded or shaded, something like that, right? So you're putting at different places. Now, when you're trained up in that, how to put the nail in the wall by your father or your brother, an expert person who knows how to do that. Then immediately after the training, what you do is you fix it up in 5 minutes or less than that. Because you know how to do it. Now, which way to do it, right? Through that you get it, right? Same way, dear Lord. If we hear daily the truth and then try to contemplate on it, understand the truth, understand the fact more and more, then what happens is, in our heart and heart, we ourselves, we feel that, oh, Arey, definitely, I'm not honest. Yes, I think that, I say that I'm not this body, but a powerful spiritual, but I do not act on that way, but I do not act on that platform. then what happens? We generally become humble and then we offer obeisance. Yes, Prabhu, I'm a lowly person. A lot of people say that I'm a good practitioner, been practicing since 5 years or 6 years. Oh, a lot of people, lot of devotees they also say that, oh, you give good classes also. But in the heart and heart, we understand that, oh, not yet there. Then what happens? This will not lead to depression because we have a relationship now. Through that relationship, what happens? Oh, we want to hear more and more. And then we want to understand. We want to take that next step. And then slowly, slowly, we aspire for that state. That is an example. Even in winter also, you should take cold shower. Since many years I've been doing, never I took hot shower. Every day cold shower in many years. Because it is important. Because what is that? That is what our acharyas are teaching. And this is just an example. There are so many examples like that. When we manifest those things, you realize different aspects. You get the reflections. Because what are we doing? We are doing an action for the pleasure of the Lord. For example, you go for book distribution. What should be the mode? What should be the consciousness? Not that I have to tell how many books are distributed in the class. What should be the mode? Oh, my dear Lord, you gave me this service. Dear Srila Prabhupada, you worked very hard to write these books. Now I got an opportunity to distribute those books. Please give me a chance so that I can distribute, so that others will also get benefit. Just like I'm getting benefit through the process of Shravana and Kirtan. Let others will also get benefit. That is a mode. What is it? No? The mode is a selfless one. Even if he says he has $5 less, that's okay. I'll give little less money. That's okay. What are we trying to do? We are trying to manifest that selflessness within the heart. Just giving an example. So many examples like that. So likewise, when we do that continuously, what happens is then we get that proper state and proper consciousness to chant Hare Krishna. Actually, we did not go into that question today. We'll continue that tomorrow. We might discuss about that question. Because it is important, dear devotees, what we discussed today. If you understand, if you apply this truth, if you know how to move the next step, then we'll be the greatest. You'll be the happiest person in this world. Because what are we aspiring? No, we're getting the knowledge. The aspiration is what? To move that knowledge to the next step. Realization. How is that realization coming? Slowly, slowly applying the truth in our life. Moving, putting that next steps. Aspiring to surrender. Because they do it at the end of this life, everything has to be gone. Nobody will stop. As green card will not stop. I was talking to we stay here, it's a rental home. The first floor are the owners. That first floor person, I was asking how many children you have. He said, I have 2 daughters. He said, my first daughter, she lives in Australia. Oh, she got PR also. My son-in-law is a citizen of Australia. He's proudly telling. I was just thinking, the heart and the heart. And people are aspiring for this. Krishna will give that only. Whatever is our aspiration, whatever is our goal. That's why we should be very careful. What we are aspiring, especially after coming to Krishna consciousness, that becomes karma kanda, dear devotees. But if we are aspiring for this, that, so many other things, it becomes karma kanda. That will not bring us to the plane of nama bhas also. Will remain in the state of nama prabha. It will not move us to the nama bhas state. Rather, there is check and balance at every moment. Whoever cautiously watching this continuously, he'll be uplifted. So I'll leave the floor for any questions. Anyone would like to add anything? I felt it's an important discussion today. So
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, then Namo Krishna Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for giving us the importance of chanting the holy name, the Shuddhanam. Yeah, initially, Prabhuji, I mean, of course, even now, uh, we try to chant with some expectations. But after hearing to you and, coming closer to the devotees, we know the importance of chanting the holy name as a service, seva to Lord Krishna. And slowly, I'm trying to develop that habit, Prabhuji. Please bless me. Hare Krishna.
Actually, that seva should be, Krishna will be more pleased. I'll tell how Krishna will be more pleased. If you chant for the pleasure of Srila Prabhupada, you chant for the pleasure of spiritual master, Krishna will be immensely pleased. Will be more pleased. Actually, the relationship will be deep and more and more. That is why I ask. That is what I ask for every day. And I chant my rounds. It will always remain in my consciousness. I'm doing this for them because they gave me this. Period. It's like Prahlad Maharaj. When Narsingadev came, Narsingadev tells Prahlad, let's go. I'll take you to the spiritual world. Prahlad Maharaj says, Tava Bhrutya Sevya. Are, how can I leave? You are exalted Vaishnavas, pure souls. How can I leave the association of Nardamani? He gave me everything. And there's so many souls here suffering. My dear Lord, how can I come to the spiritual world with you? I want to serve them, my dear Lord. Please help. I want to stay here. Oh, Narsinga was so pleased with that. Very pleased. Oh, this episode, I always aspire this episode should remain in our heart and heart. Because we should know when the Lord is most pleased. I'll tell two things, dear devotees. When the Lord is most displeased, when the Lord is most pleased. If we take these two things and then fix this in the heart, we should imprint this in our consciousness. What is the two things? You should never offend a devotee. So you might say this person is not a devotee, just came yesterday. No. Not even to him also. We don't know what he practiced in his previous life. Are Jay Vijay, they couldn't judge. They couldn't understand those four personalities. Sanaka, Sanatana, Sanandana, Sant Kumar. Four children came. They're not children. Exalted personalities, a Brahma Bhuta state. They couldn't. What about us? Conditioned souls. How can we judge the other person? So in the heart and heart, no, you might not do dandavat to him, but in the heart and heart, we should have respect. You might not go and do dandavat pranam. Oh, Prabhu, oh, he came yesterday only. Prabhu, you shouldn't go and do dandavat pranam. Prabhu. In the heart and heart, you should have good vibes. That's the first thing. This is just normal person who came. But to the pure devotees, you should never do. What is Hatimata Para? The pure devotees, if we offend the pure devotees, what is that? Hatimata Para. That means our chanting, our beatback will be completely taken away. We don't know when we will get the beatback. 100 lifetimes, 1000 lifetimes. We don't know. That is Hatimata Para. That thing one shouldn't do. What is second thing which we should do? We should glorify the pure devotees to the heart and heart. We should do everything for them. This is the secret. If we do this, if we follow these two things, never do any offenses, and then continuously follow the instructions of the acharyas and do it for them. Should do it for the pleasure of Srila Prabhupada. Should do it for the pleasure of our spiritual master. We do that. Heart and heart. Everything, सब आएगा आपको. शुद्ध नाम भी आएगा. अरे शुद्ध नाम वाक्य आएगा आपके पास. शुद्ध नाम will run. Will come. I'll guarantee this. You will chant very sincerely. You'll get this realization that there is nothing else other than this. Then you will leave this so-called sense gratification of this world, which is there's no tangibility also. There's no existence for that. It's a limited happiness. I always think this. I always think about this. For this limited happiness, why should I leave this Goloka? In the Goloka, there is no sex life actually. I always think about that. If in the spiritual world, Vaikuntha, Goloka, there is no, there are a million times beautiful personalities there in the spiritual world. Oh, so million times beautiful than what we see here. Here, what is this Prabhu? Kapapita Vayu. There's nothing here actually. After a few years, their beauty is vanished. There's nothing actually. It's only illusory. It's only illusory state of happiness. I always think about the Bhagavatam says, right? They're million times beautiful, then they should always stay with them, but they never stay. They stay, but they don't stay also. They do not have physical intimacy. Hare Krishna, because they're getting transcendental love unlimitedly. That means, for that state of consciousness, why should I use my valuable human form of life for this thing? For doing that, I can take pig body also. Pig does a lot of 100 times sense gratification bigger than the human beings. That means the pig body is better. That means this human form of life. Then I always think about this. I remember spiritual master telling about that. This human form of life is meant for this, na? For self-realization. It's not for this. So stay away. Only associate for service, exchanges, sharing the truth. This is what husband and wife should do. No connection. No connection. That state we should do. Aspire, pray for this consciousness, dear devotees. Because Golok mein, this is not there in the spiritual world. I write it down. This is not there. Prabhupada says in the spiritual world, there's nothing like this. That is a Prabhupada said. You follow four liberative principles. And Prabhupada mentioned also. It's not that I am telling, or my spiritual master is telling. No. Or our spiritual master is telling. No, this is words of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada said, if Srila Prabhupada said have sex, then we will. Srila Prabhupada said no sex, then no. That's it. Simple, dear devotees. This is a relationship. Very important. We should aspire for this. We should have this desire. You might come today only. Today might be the first. We should always think, today is my first day in Krishna consciousness. Let me do this from this. Let me do this nicely, thoroughly. Because what are all of these things, dear devotees? When we engage in those things, what are those things? These are all the offenses. When the offenses is not there, when the offenses are there, then the progress is slackened. Then we remain in Namapura. We don't move forward. Because we are always in the bodily consciousness. That will stop us. That's why we should, in our heart and heart, we should respect to the acharyas to the core of the and then move forward. Very important, dear devotees. And Krishna loves that. Krishna adores that. We should develop that relationship. We should have good relationships among ourselves also. When you see the other devotee, now we are in the call, right? Now I don't see you personally. But when you meet the other devotee, when Subal Prabhu meets Sushilpa Mataji and Subal Prabhu meets Bhaswati Mataji, you should discuss the truth. Oh, what did you learn today in the class? What did you understood? This is how you develop the relationship. So very important, dear devotees. Otherwise, that is what we should cultivate. We should have this closed circle, intimate circle. What is it? Closed circle. Through this closed circle, what is the reason of coming together? The truth, absolute truth. We are discussing what the acharyas are discussing. We are trying to meditate. We are trying to contemplate on the truth. More and more to move forward. I think I will stop here, but we will continue this tomorrow, and we'll see how to develop that deeper conviction, and then how do we come to the state of chanting of Hare Krishna mantra on a deeper level, so that our mind is not disturbing us. Mind will not disturb Prabhu. When we are always with them, why mind will disturb? Is mind not in the control of the Lord? Is the material nature not in the control of the Lord? Everything is in the control of the Lord. Krishna will control everything. For that, we need to just follow our acharyas. That is why our acharyas, we should keep them on our head, on our top, everything. That's why, even in front of the Lord, we glorify the spiritual master and the acharyas. Lord is very pleased with them. That's why every moment, every day in the morning, I try to get up. I'll get up every day. Smile. humble prayer, because when I go and then worship the Lord, Samsara Dava prayer we do in the morning in front of the deities, it's so soothing to the heart, very pleasing. In the midst of the devotees, staying together, and then aspiring for that. Very beautiful. Hare Krishna. I think I'll stop here. Shilash Prabhu, sorry, please excuse me, I took little extra time.
No problem.
Please
The
continue.
wonderful message. And Hare Krishna. I'd like to the dust of the Lotus feet of